Attention please. This upload is only for educational purpose. No intention to infringe copyrights. Learning English with subtitles. GPITRAL. GPITRAL. Definitely a must-see. Follow us.
They had pointed ears, claw-like hands, beady looking, you know, and had a slit for a mouth. They said they were silver looking, green looking, silver plated, nickel plated is what they call them.
Yeah, it was an eerie thing, you know, if you see something floating at the top of the ground, wouldn't you like, yeah, you know, run for your life?
Gotta get the gun.
To run into the house. And my grandmother's like, what have y'all went out there to cook up? And he's like, Mom, there is something out here, I'm not lying.
Mama, I'm not lying, there's something out
She knew it was really getting serious when one got a shotgun, one got a rifle.
Come on, guys, come on.
It was Lonnie, me, my sister, and I think my brother were all hiding up under the bed at this time because we were all scared. We didn't know what was going to happen. Didn't know what was going to take place. There was fear. There was fear enough that I think we was all crying. All of us kids were crying.
Holding their guns at the ready, the men stand at the farmhouse windows, staring out to the darkness beyond. A mist rises up from the ground and creeps up to the level of the windowsill. The men look on wide-eyed with fear. An alien shoots past the bedroom window. One of the young boys turns to look, but it has gone. It then appears at the lounge window. Billy Ray fires his gun repeatedly at the little green man.
All of a sudden, there comes one, as big as you can be. Billy Ray fires at it. JC shoots off around to the front of the house because one of them's peeking in the window and they're just having a battle. The darn little things get shot, they drop, roll away, and then they come back.
Yeah, come on, JC, come on.
They were coming at the doors and windows looking in, like they were wanting to come in. You've got children there, you're gonna protect them. And that's what those country boys did.
For the Suttons, making nice with E.T. wasn't an option. They felt under attack.
Shoot first, ask questions later.
It was just scary. They were scared, the kids were crying, everybody was hysterical.
Eventually, the shooting stopped. The little green men had come and gone.
Finally, it got quiet. My dad said, hit the trucks. So they took out, jumped in the trucks, headed to Hopkinsville. There was police officers there.
In the dark of night, police officers head to the farmhouse to check out this Sutton's fantastic story.
My family had a nice, quiet life. They loved the farm, they loved it out in the country, but that night changed everything for them. It was never going to be the same again.
In the fall of 1955, in the hills of Appalachia, the Sutton family maintains that aliens from space descended on their farm. They came under attack by little green men. Local police were called in, but by that time, hardly a trace of the extraterrestrials remained.
A couple of police officers noticed that in the back, where they had shot one off the fence, there was like a glowing substance on the ground. But they couldn't find any bodies. No hair, no skin, no blood, nothing to show that anything was actually hurt or killed except that there was evidence of gunfire.
There's bullet holes, there's shells, cases all over the place.
By morning, word of aliens landing at the Sutton farmhouse traveled quickly throughout Appalachia.
I was going into the 8th grade, and it was just the biggest thing that ever hit this area. Kelly had little green men running around down there, flying saucers. That was something out of Buck Rogers or Flash Gordon or Superman, which was a big thing with all of us kids.
There was 2 camps, really. Some dismissed it as a hoax and a prank, or maybe somebody drank too much that night. And then there was another camp that kind of leaned toward something happening there.
The Suttons were one of the first reported close encounters. They wouldn't be the last.
The Appalachia area has had several famous sightings. You get into Kentucky, you get into the Kelly Little Green Men sightings, you get UFO sightings, abductions there.
Reports of flying saucers quickly became an Appalachian phenomenon.
Oh, we were coming up the road here, and we looked around the curve there, and we thought it was a car light. When we got around it, it was this big orange glowing light.
Well, I first thought it was an airplane, a jet.
When I saw it, was 6 feet in diameter.
And it was in a circle.
Reddish orange tint to it.
Where did it go?
It went right in the treetop. It was huge.
We got all kinds of static on the radio, and the car quit. And it just sailed away.
Adding to the area's excitement and fear about UFOs, classified military activities at nearby Fort Campbell, Kentucky, home of the 101st Airborne Division, and a secret nuclear arsenal.
Fort Campbell wasn't very far away. And you could actually see they would do their night maneuvers, and the big flares would go up in the air at night. And so every night when they would do the maneuvers, it was like, oh my gosh, is it Fort Campbell or is it something else?
Today marks the first time Geraldine has returned to the farmhouse since she was a little girl.
This is where Billy Ray sing the thing going across the sky. This is where he was. This is actually it. And standing here and just seeing something go across the sky, it's like just surreal. You know, it's like, wow.
New property owner Doris McCord takes Geraldine to the spot where the aliens supposedly touched down.
Back when I was a kid, we used to bring other neighborhood kids in. Me and my brother would tell them this is where they landed. I mean, it was 2 big sinkholes or bare spots here. They were almost side by side.
Wow. It makes me actually feel a whole lot better to be here and actually see the spot once again, see that it's grown in actual distance from the house and putting everything together. It's just really great because you can see it. I mean, you can see it and touch it and smell it, and it's all there.
From that fateful night forward, the Sutton family believed in aliens from outer space. Throughout Appalachia, UFO sightings have continued. But to this very day, Geraldine remains wary of their return.
Yes, it does put a fear in you. Big time. Even now, if I'm out at night, I'll watch the sky. It's just a matter of time. You know, they're here. They're here.
Some 400 miles across Appalachia sits Point Pleasant, West Virginia. A small town wedged into a spit of land where the Ohio and Kanawha rivers cross. On any given day, Main Street bears little evidence of Point Pleasant's dark secret. A town famous for its flying monster.
There were kids in cars with their parents who saw it. There were teenagers at a bonfire who saw it. There were hundreds of sightings.
We were just out playing in the woods at night, and it looked like a cross between a man and an alien with wings and red eyes. It scared me more than anything that I have ever seen in my life.
Growing up here in Point Pleasant, I've always heard about the Mothman. As you're growing up and people tell you stuff, you know, you start to believe it, but you've always got that doubt in your mind. until you go and experience it yourself.
It all began in the late 1960s with sightings of a Mothman monster. First, the location of the sightings. The TNT bunkers, a former bomb-making plant built during World War II.
Well, the TNT area was an entire community, a town within itself. You can still see maps of it and see how it was a top secret facility for making explosives. But then they let it become overgrown, and the buildings were abandoned and the igloos were abandoned.
After the war, the government no longer needed the bunkers. They were deserted, except for occasional visits by Point Pleasant teenagers, bored and looking for fun.
We used to hang out and play at the TNT bunkers. That was the only thing to do around here, especially during the summer.
Teenagers gather at the bunkers drinking.
In the fall of 1967, high school kids sneaked off to the TNT bunkers for a good time. They encountered something else.
The kids scatter as a large shadow swoops over them.
Rumors about a Mothman spread quickly through the town.
They were really serious about it and really scared. You know, they had to see something. They were too scared and too emotional not to have seen something. And then, of course, that was the talk of everywhere you went.
While the town was trading stories, one Point Pleasant girl came face to face with something she'll never forget.
I was an innocent teenager till I saw those red eyes. I've just never been the same since then.
End of part 3.